So let's take this discussion further. I'm joined in studio now by Ntiyiso Consulting Chief Revenue Officer, Miyelani Holeni. Thank you so much for coming through, Miyelani. I'm sure you were watching the Auditor-General there, and if you were, you probably picked up a sense of exasperation and utter frustration that things are not changing. I mean, he's even going back to quoting things that he said that were said by his office in 2011. Is it right to be frustrated and exasperated from your experience?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at how the audits have been progressing over the period when the municipalities have been in place, particularly if you look at, as you say, 2011, 2013, those periods, it started showing some green shoots of improvement. However, we see a deterioration because some of the municipalities that used to be star performers have also regressed as well. So it is justified to be, in a way, even upset in the way that is emphasizing some of the results. So if you look at, the fact that only 33 municipalities are able to provide, credible annual financial results. I mean, that is something that if you look at the entire 257 municipalities, really it leaves a lot to be desired, and we should be worried that we are still in that state, after so many years of working within the municipal space.
Where is it broken, Miyelani? Because, part of the problem, let's stick to the issue of, presenting financial statements. Municipalities are supposed to have chief financial officers. They're supposed to have municipal managers whose jobs it is to make sure that the way money is spent can be accounted for. And it seems that's one major problem where they're not getting it right.
I think in that aspect, if you look at the vacancies, which he also, the AG, Auditor-General also spoke about, the vacancies particularly in the chief financial officers, as well as the municipal managers, because those are the accounting officers of those municipalities. So those vacancies, especially after the changeover of governance, or at least, new council coming in, that tends to slow down. And we are seeing a slowdown. We've just come from not so long municipal elections, and we see that there are a number of changes and the vacancies have not improved, and in some cases where people have vacancies are not being filled on time, we still see an issue of skills, but overall we can classify the matter as a governance issue, because within governance there's leadership with respect to who is leading and what is the trajectory that is being followed within the municipality.
And with the vacancies you're talking about in positions such as CFOs, is it a matter of the skills not being available in that you can't find the people to appoint as CFOs, or is it deeper than that? Is it an issue of the political will to maintain a functional municipality and appoint someone who's competent?
I think if you look at the problems that are coming up, there's a number of issues that we must reflect on. Yes, political will is a key one. Some of, for instance, the municipalities are not able to attract the right skills. It could be that they are out in the outskirts, but generally you're finding that you're not getting the quality of people or the right people who should be in those positions and leading the various departments there. So in that case, we can say the local government is struggling to attract the right skills, and maybe it's because of some of the political upheavals that people go through if you sit, or work within the space. However, we see that, as a big issue that, the skills that are required are not coming through.
Consequence management. The AG makes a lot out of that it seems there are no consequences. There's a municipality in Mpumalanga, I think it's Tabachwe, if I'm not mistaken. The report says it has had 8 disclaimer audit opinions, and no one is in prison and no one is being prosecuted for failing to implement the PFMA. What is your experience in terms of consequence management?
Well, in this case, we look at the oversight committees. I think for us we're looking at strengthening that oversight committees, and those committees are not functioning at the level that they should, because if you look at, for instance, the MPEC, the municipal the equivalent of SCOPA, that is one key committee within the municipality that should be enforcing a lot of these matters which are not going right. So in our case, we're saying oversight must be increased, and the people who are running those oversight committees must be the ones who are knowledgeable and be able to decipher some of these issues that are not going right, and be able to then enforce the consequences that must be enforced.
Which brings us back to politicians again, who may not necessarily always consider what you and I are talking about.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Miyelani Holeni, thank you so much for coming through and talking to me. He is, of course, Consulting Chief Revenue. He's from Ntiyiso Consulting, rather, and there he is the Chief Revenue Officer talking to us about the audit outcomes of municipalities.